Your anniversary of the pandemic, we are beginning to see the light at the end of the tunnel, right? That, however, is not the case for everybody. Many people's lives have changed after losing loved ones.
Yeah, others who have contracted the virus are still dealing with lingering symptoms months after the virus went away. So joining us this morning is one New Jersey mom who is trying to raise awareness of what it's like in this so-called long hauler life following COVID. She joins us now. Good morning. Thanks for being with us, Mrinalini Nair. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. So you contracted this virus during the height of the pandemic. Talk to us about the experience, what you were able to feel.
Yeah, it was early April, so quite a while ago, almost I'd say like a year. So essentially, we don't know where we got it from. We were actually extremely cautious. We were wiping down our groceries. We were wearing masks at the time, where a lot of people were still not wearing masks, to be honest, right? Or taking the virus seriously. We did everything right, but unfortunately, my husband got sick, I got sick, and my children also got sick.
So what were the symptoms you felt then at the outset?
Yeah, my husband had actually had a fever for, I think, a day, and then it went off, but he had severe body ache. He was unable to move around. He had exhaustion like he's never had. And he's a pretty sturdy guy. I mean, he's not somebody who, winces at the flu like me. So it was tough to get him down. I've never seen him down like that in my life. I, on the other hand, developed symptoms. My kids had it next. They had fever and diarrhea. And my little guy had it much worse than my older guy. My little guy's 2 and my older guy is 6. I ended up having fever on the 3rd day after my husband, and within 2 days I started feeling like my lungs were locked.
Oh, wow.
Literally like somebody just closed my chest up and just threw away the key. And at that point I had a feeling that I had the pneumonia. And so I ended up going to the local city MD. They confirmed it with an X-ray, and they sent me home with very light antibiotics and said, "You'll be fine, you're young," which obviously wasn't the case. Through my friend Vaidehi, I actually managed to get an oximeter. I couldn't get an oximeter anywhere for the life of me because they had been sold out. Amazon wasn't delivering as usual, as you guys could probably remember during those times. It's definitely come back at this time, but I couldn't get an oximeter at all, and finally got one and saw literally my oxygen was dropping. And the minute it hit 90, I had spoken to a couple of doctors, and I have a friend called Dilshad, and she actually works at NYU Langone, and she was like, "You need to come in before you cause any damage to your body. This is urgent," because I was really nervous. I mean, quite frankly, I'd seen those images of Javits Center with the beds, and I was like, I would rather stay at home than be there.
That's how a lot of people felt. And I'm wondering just how long that actually lasted. What classified you then as this long hauler?
Yeah, so I ended up in the hospital for 6 days. Actually, I heard that the hospital staff was impressed by how quickly I turned it around. I was on hydroxychloroquine. I ended up being really sick. Like I couldn't move around for 8 weeks. I took the time off from work. But I literally, if I cooked a meal, I was exhausted after that. But even after those 8 weeks, and even when I returned to work virtually, I was still struggling with a lot of symptoms. Like I had really bad cramps in my legs, which normally people would tell you, that could be a DVT, so what do you do in those scenarios? And actually, I always tell my friends, your doctor, the ER becomes your GP at that point. There's no doctors who can physically see you, so you end up going to the ER for
But it's also like you're working with others who are dealing with this to gather more information to help kind of self-diagnose, because you can't keep going back to the ER, right? So other folks have had symptoms of not being able to smell, not being able to taste, and that has lingered, I've even read, for about a year now.
Yes, there are a lot of people who are still struggling. I mean, I went to Survivor Corps. I actually got on the group when I was initially ill, got scared because I was seeing that people were not getting better. It made me really nervous. But then I went back because I started dealing with those symptoms, right? Just what you noted, those long haul symptoms. And the only way I could get data or find support was through other people who were going through it, all parts of the world, all parts of the country, mainly New York, right? Because that's where we were really hit the hardest at that time. But yeah, there are people who still have lingering headaches. I myself still have dizziness from time to time. I had headaches for many months, I would say. I had cramps and body tingling for months beyond what what normal people would have assumed. I went to Mount Sinai, to the doctors there. They have an amazing post-COVID clinic.
So real quick, I'm sorry, we're just out of time, and I don't mean to cut you off here, but I do want to give people just a place to go in case they're feeling these symptoms. I know you have a Facebook group or something.
Yes, it's Survivor Core. It's run by Diana Barrett. She is amazing. She's an inspiration to the community of survivors. There are people there that are like you. If you're having these symptoms, please come and join. You will find support in this time that you need the most.
Yeah, and people need that. They want to know that they're not alone in this. So thank you for sharing your story. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.